Hey guys, a little bit of a different video planned for this one. That's Stormfly, for those of you that don't know. And what you definitely don't know is that she's a wreck. She's a complete and utter wreck. She's taking up space. And I'm afraid it's time for her to go. So let's back up for a second. I've been gone for quite some time now. Feels like forever. For those of you that don't know, my dad passed away in January. He had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So I've been taking a lot of personal time just to, reflect on a lot of things. And I'm not gonna lie, I've really learned a lot about myself and all sorts of stuff. So how did we get here? Well, Stormfly has been through a lot. Her and I both have been through a lot. She's also not aged well. I know it seems only yesterday that I finally put her together and I still haven't. Well, technically, I was never able to get good video or photos of her, and maybe it was just meant to be. So she's basically falling apart. Not all of her, but enough of her. Basically this whole part. I've got to be honest, I don't want to fix her. It would require remaking her, basically. And there's so many other things that I want to do and so many other things that I want to try. And if the past few months and this year of pandemic have made me understand anything, it's that there's no point in putting more time and effort and money into something that your heart is not in just because you already put money and time and work into something. So when I brought this up that I, really wanted to put her to the curb, my sister eloquently put it, then take her to the curb. So here I am. I've got scissors, I've got knives, I've got a screwdriver, and we're gonna gut her. It sounds so terrible. I'm so sorry. No, you know what? I'm not sorry. Because this is for me. Letting go is an important part of every process in life. I'm not gonna get rid of all of her. There's certain parts of her that I could possibly repurpose, and there's other parts of her that did work that I can hold on to as inspiration or things that I can use in future projects. Like, her head is no longer wearable, but I'd never get rid of that because that's the coolest part of her, obviously. So the head is obviously a very sad trophy of sorts. Yeah, the rest of her, it's time to go. I swear I'm not tearing up. That's not what's happening right now. Alright, so I guess we'll get to it. Before we get started, I just wanted to show you kind of vlog style, up close, what I'm talking about when I say she's falling apart. Like, I'm not crazy. She's beyond help at this point. And even if she wasn't, I've had enough. I've had enough. So let me show you what I mean. So this is the whole body. The wings were only half-assed, whatever. Her wings were not well attached, as you can see. The Velcro is exposed here. This was just haphazardly glued on at a convention. Those weren't even finished painting. I literally took this to a convention, and those were not even painted. Her entire body is coated in rubber, and I never sealed it properly, which is something I didn't even realize I had to do. So whether the sealing was the problem or the way I applied it, I don't necessarily know. But it's caused all of her to be crunchy. Very crunchy. And this kind of thing happened all over her. It's not pretty. It's not good looking. But, these things happen. It also, anywhere it wasn't painted, it turned a very dark, ugly brown color. And for some reason, there's some random blue stuff there. she's just a hot mess. The wings don't even move anymore because of how crunchy they've become. So that's what happened. All right, so I'm not entirely sure where to begin here. I've never just butchered one of my costumes before, but I feel like this is a necessary experience for me. Maybe sad, but you know, it just feels like it's what I need to do. So thank you for witnessing my journey and my experience. I appreciate you. There's literally no going back now. Don't try to stop me. Bruh. So, while I do this, I'm gonna talk about what I did right and what I definitely did wrong. And right off the bat, I can tell you one of my best decisions ever was to reinforce any and all areas that needed it with fabric. So foam in itself is not very strong. So I made a point to reinforce her joint areas with muslin, because once you glue the foam, which is very rippable, to something like fabric, which is much less rippable, it made this like perfect connection, and it allowed movement still, but like they were super like strong. It was crazy. It was awesome. And as you can see, I'm honestly having some trouble cutting this off of here. It's so good. That was the A+. Good job for me. There's literally some plastic bag glued in here. One thing I've learned from Stormfly and from my current project, my terror dog that I'm working on, is that one of the best things you can do for a costume with high areas, with areas of lots of movement, is to not restrict it. I have this thing, because I'm such a perfectionist, that I want everything perfectly covered, so you see no moving parts and there's no indication of how I did it at all, which in theory sounds great, but it's really not, because the second you attach this to this, your shoulder doesn't move at all. Anytime you can leave something free moving, like the way your arm moves in a sleeve, where it can just move around, like, way better. So I'm trying to apply that solution to my next project. So Stormfly is just full of unique learning experiences. God, why does this smell so bad? Ugh. A freaking heck. Woo! I got one. Ah. So these wings, I never even finished painting them. It was like a 0 hour. This is as much as I can get done without giving every blast of my brain cells. So, you know, they were okay. But the thing is, like, instead of like using like just spandex, which would have been the ideal solution or something, I'm like, no, let's make sure everything has uniform rubber texture. And this is what I get. They don't move at all. Like, this is interfacing covered with rubber. Like, why in the world did I think that would move nicely? Like, I'm certifiably insane sometimes. Anyway, so the framework of these was actually a good idea. I should have covered them with a different material. That was my mistake. So what I do want is the handle piece that is buried in here somewhere, because the handle pieces were another 0 hour thing, and they were something that my dad actually had custom welded for me in the 0 hour to get this costume done in time, and she wouldn't have taken flight without that, so thank you, Dad, for helping me, as you always do. Literally, look at this. Like, these are the flakes of my hopes and dreams. I'm just kidding. We're moving on. So I don't really know how best to get in here. Like, what is this paint job? Like, who let me do this? Who let me do this? So this was just like cotton batting, so I should just be able to, oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it is. That's what I need. Oh my god, this is gotta be not healthy. Ugh. Oh my god. Look how gross that is. Ew. Ew. Give you a close up of this. Like, what is that? It's all rusty and gross in here. Like that. That's not healthy. That, unless that's rubber. That then, yeah, that's probably rubber that just turned yellow. Okay, never mind. Okay. But like, what is that stuff? You see this white stuff? What is that? Why does it smell? Is this mold? It's got to be mold. Oh my god. Okay, so for those of you who are joining in late, Stormfly was in a flood at my ex-boyfriend's house. We'll get into that later. So these moving parts probably would not have functioned anymore anyway, even if I tried to repair them, because there's like all this weird moldy corrosion type stuff everywhere. Like that's nasty. Ick. 10 out of 10. Would not recommend. Alright. Ah. So I just want this handle. And once I clean all the nasty, corrosive, whatever that is off of there, this could potentially be useful for something else. So, yeah. But this, I don't feel like salvaging anything else from these. So these are trash. So I've seen people do like those declutter videos where like they hold something and they see if it brings them joy. I don't remember what the name of that process is, but this kind of feels like that, except it doesn't bring me joy at all. So time to go. It smells like death. So, I was in a relationship when Stormfly began, and I'm not going to get into the details of that because why go back? We're not going back. We're going forward. The whole thing with this is moving forward. So, it was not a particularly like wholesome and nice environment to be doing a terribly stressful project in. But you know, I did it and I got through and I'm proud. Oh my god, that's neon green! What is that? Right there. What is that? Am I gonna die? Should I be wearing gloves? I didn't plan for this. Shit. Anyway, so that did not help alleviate any of the Stormfly trauma that was occurring. So, and then she just stayed there. So like, literally part of my issue with getting out of that relationship was that I have this huge costume that literally was born in his basement and I couldn't put her anywhere else. So like, that was not a good thing for me. And of course, it's bad luck abounds, you know, his basement flooded. And that is assuredly why all of my metal bits look like this, even though like this part was hanging up. This was not on the ground. So the basement was just so moist that the air alone destroyed these things. Like there was no hope for this after that. As much as I wanted there to be, or did I want there to be? She was pretty much gone already and I just needed to accept that. So my hands are itchy. I'm gonna find some more tools and I'll be right back. I got gloves now.
because I literally pinched my finger and now I'm afraid I'm gonna get tetanus, so yeah.
There's the inside. It's not holding together particularly well, as I'm sure you could have guessed. It looks like ick, and it smells like ick, so, yeah. This Velcro was, I don't even know if you can see that, it's kind of bright. My whole Velcro solution, that I will use for every project going forward, forever. Because you can't really glue Velcro to upholstery foam. You can sometimes get away with it with EVA type foam, but definitely not upholstery foam, which is, nothing works. And I discovered that if you sew it to fabric and then glue the fabric, because the fabric glue is awesome, obviously, it's like the perfect solution. So if you didn't know that, now you know. Let's get rid of some more stuff. I try to be really clever when I designed my like seams and stuff, because again, I'm a perfectionist and I don't want you to see things. So like I had all these complicated things where like it would fold over and then hide the seam here, and I mean it was ingenious at the time, but like the level of work was not so unnecessary. And the amount of Velcro I went through, like geez. And of course the whole rubber getting hard situation didn't help at all. This is hurting you guys. I thought it would hurt me more. But honestly, I'm okay with this. Seriously, how did I not paint these? Another one of my ingenious hide everything situations. It's not bad. Like Velcro on Velcro on Velcro, like what the? So we're just gonna cut through here. My goal is to get the PVC harness thing out, just because it has all the connection points for the tail, which I'm gonna hold on to that for now. Just like I feel like I might be able to use it for something. Maybe I'm just like not ready to fully let go. It could definitely be that. The neck was a god dang farce from the beginning, so let's get rid of it, shall we? The neck was the bane of my existence. I feel like had the neck not screwed me up during the contest, I might have had a chance at winning. Maybe. But the neck didn't work, so it didn't present, and yeah, we're cutting. We're gutting, we're butchering. Woo! This is how you open your dragon, like a book. I think there's a word for that in cooking, isn't it? Like, butterflying? Spatchcocking? I don't know. One thing I am really proud of with this costume is the texture. The amount of time and effort I put into making this look accurate. Insert reference photo here. Like, I am damn proud of that. In fact, I might cut a square out of this and keep it, just because that's how awesome it is. And that's how proud I am of how this texture turned out. I definitely like this more than this. Like, this was the, I cut all these scales out individually and I glued these on. And then these ones I carved in, and then I tried to kind of blend it together. I didn't do quite as well as I had planned, but even still, like, that's damn impressive. That's damn impressive. So I know I keep talking about how like horribly draining this build experience was, and it was, but I don't want to discredit my amazingly supportive family, without whom this never would have come to be. My sisters were there the nights leading up to the contest, and they were helping me paint, and they brought me tacos and Chick-fil-A and stuff to keep me going, because I was literally working 6 a.m. to 3 a.m. and it was ridiculous. But couldn't have done it without them.
And I fear that without them, not only would it not have gotten done, but I probably would have had a mental breakdown because I was dealing with a lot. I'm dealing with a lot now, but I'm dealing with it better because, you know, I left my toxic relationship. I'm letting go of my toxic costume, and I'm just trying to improve myself as a person. And I know it probably sounds weird talking about a cosplay and talking about bettering yourself as an individual, but you know what? You gotta do it through the mediums that suit you. So here I am, attempting to let go of my attachment to things that don't work and my perfectionism. So I'm letting go of my perfectionism. It's not helping me. As much as like this rubber like really looked awesome when the costume was initially finished, it didn't hold up well, and I'm sure it's my fault because of the way I coated it. It didn't seal it, which I didn't know I was supposed to. But I was so hell-bent on making the skin as realistic as possible. That's why I went with rubber. And also because I'd seen it work, like it can be done, but I didn't realize how short-lived it is as a material, whether it's latex or neoprene or whatever it is. It's not made to last forever. And I, for some reason, really want costumes to last forever. Like, I put all the work in. I want to have it forever. But that's not a realistic expectation unless you plan to maintain them, which obviously I didn't because it stressed me out and I learned to hate it and blah, 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 blah. But yeah. Still have not removed the harness. That was my whole plan. And then I just started chopping it up into little pieces like a serial killer. There she blows. This piece of PVC held this whole costume together. Look at how friggin' ugly this is. Like, I mean, the form is fine. It did its job. But, like, what is this? What is this crap? There's, like, duct tape. What is that? What is this? I can do better, I promise. Put that in the keep pile. The tail. I'm incredibly proud of the tail and how it turned out. Like, the tail turned out dope. And, like, yes, there are things I would do different if I did it again. Mainly, like, okay, so the tail was great when it was just foam. When I glued all the foam spines to the tail on top of the spandex, like, it was great. It worked great. And then I added the rubber. And then it didn't move at all. Well, no, actually, I put the 3M74 spray glue to seal it. I put that on first, which pretty much immobilized it. Then I added rubber, and if it wasn't immobile before, now it definitely was. Which was so sad, because, you know, the tail was, like, the coolest part. So, like, the videos that I have before any rubber or anything went on, like, they're the best ones. Like, that's what this costume could have been. It represents the best parts about it before I ruined it in a rush. Going forward, I want to be able to find a balance. I feel like that is the best word I can use. I want to find a balance of doing it as best you can without losing your mind trying to make it the best. Like, I keep trying to make things like so perfect that they're beyond retribution, and why? Because they never are. That's not possible. And then you've just put in all this extra work and time and sacrificed yourself to try and make it this level of perfect that you'll never get to because it doesn't exist. So in the end, you could have put in less time and less work and had something you were super happy with. Like, it didn't have to be perfect. Like, I didn't win the contest that she was in. I know why I didn't. I know a lot of people that just saw pictures and stuff. Those people don't understand why I didn't win because of how big and how much work they saw that went into her and all that. But, like, for all the work and time I put into it, she was far from perfect. She was far from presentable because of how rushed she was. And I feel like if I had just gone a little smaller and just tried to make something that I could be happy with instead of something that I thought the world would think was perfect, that, you know, maybe things would be different. I'm not in any way trying to be like, oh, I regret what I did. Like, I did what I did, and I learned what I learned, and I'm proud of that. But at the same time, like, now I can go forward and do things differently. Like, I'm hoping that I can take what I learned from this and put it into my future projects. And instead of literally drain the life out of myself trying to make it perfect, I can just enjoy the process and be happy with the final product instead of trying to make this expert level competition perfect thing, because to me, the sacrifice is not worth it. Perfection is not worth it. No more perfection. I guess what I'm trying to say is make what you want to make. Who cares if somebody did it already and they did it better than you'll ever do it? Like, who cares? And who cares if you know it'll never win a contest, because that's not everything. And who cares if it's not your best work? Did you learn something? Then it did its job. If you look for projects that give you at least one challenge and you succeed, or you learn something new, then it was worth it. This was the big outer sleeve of Stormfly's tail. This took the worst of the flood damage, or so I thought until I saw all that hardware. This actually looks pretty cool on the inside. Cool. I remember when I did my first ever live stream. That was after I spontaneously got like a ton of followers. And Stormfly is 100% responsible for that. So for that, I can't thank her enough, because she built my social media foundation, like, and not only that, like, people's response to her really gave me confidence, you know, like, I can do this, and I can make something awesome that people care about. So she can't thank her enough for that. But I remember I did my first ever live stream cutting up these stupid spines, and I was terrified, never done it before, was really, really scared. And for those of you that were there, hi, thank you. Did I look nervous? You guys were so amazing and so supportive, and the exposure that I received and the support that I got, like, really made me realize just how great this community really is. I feel like I should, like, pretend like I killed a dragon and I'm gonna, like, turn its skin into, like, a rug or, like, a belt or something. That'd be cool, right? Now, I know there's gonna be lots of people in the comments that are gonna have a lot to say about this. And they're definitely gonna be people asking, oh, I would have bought that, why didn't you sell it, blah, blah, blah. And I could never, in good conscience, have sold her, because I knew the degree of unwearable that she was. And if, you know, flashback to the nasty corrosion. Oh my god, that's neon green! What? I never would sell any portion of her if she was dangerous, which I think she is. But yeah, she was not good for the person wearing her. Not comfortable, not healthy, just bad. So no, I never would have sold her. Yeah, no. People are also going to ask me, oh, well, are you ever going to make another one? No. My time on this earth is short, and I literally have a complex thinking about it, but like I only have like X amount of years on this planet, and I have to make as many different cosplays as I possibly can. Why am I gonna waste my time making the same thing I already made? Yeah. So I know I've kind of been rambling all over the place here, but like I really just want you to know that you can always do what's right for you. Even if it means letting go. And I'm saying letting go. I'm not saying giving up. Because sometimes you have to let things go. Sometimes things just aren't serving you, and there's a reason for that. And it's obviously up to you to decide when it's time to let things go. That's something you have to do at your own pace and your own discretion. But for any of you that are really stuck or don't know what to do, just know that, you know, you can do whatever you want or need to do. And nobody can tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not okay to set a project aside. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't start a new project just because you haven't finished the previous one. Not to say you should let the unfinished projects pile up, because that's not good for you either. But sometimes you need time. Sometimes you need to step back and evaluate what works and what doesn't. And you need to ultimately know that what you're doing is good for you, because that is so important. And sometimes we get so caught up in the con crunch or whatever that we forget to take care of ourselves. And I guess above all else, you need to do what is good for you. So yeah, that was a lot. My sincerest apologies to anybody who was traumatized or upset by this, but just know that this was for me. This was for my health and my journey, and honestly my grieving process, because I feel like nothing says letting go and moving on than permanently destroying something. I hope that this video was insightful. I hope that maybe this helps people that are in a similar position, or somebody who's feeling stuck or feels like they can't move forward, or feels like they're wasting their time on a project that their heart's not in anymore. I want this to be your sign. This is a sign that it's time to move on. This is a sign that you have put in the work and you have done everything within your power to make it work. But sometimes you just gotta let go. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being patient with me while I deal with stuff. And I'm so grateful for all the support that I've gotten with everything that's going on, both in the cosplay community and outside. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm really happy that I'm slowly getting back to things and slowly feeling like I'm up to things again. So you can definitely look forward to more videos like I've done so far. I'm really excited to get back into making Dead by Daylight weapons. It was therapeutic and it was really fun for me. So for those of you that are here for that, it's coming back, I promise. Slowly getting back into things, definitely taking them at my own pace. No rush, no deadlines, just making it happen. Speaking of deadlines, I was supposed to have a really awesome finished terror dog to show you guys just in time for the ultimate online cosplay championship, but big step for me was to admit to myself that I couldn't get it done, and it was also really important to me that I didn't repeat the same mistake that I did with Stormfly, where I rushed to get her done and then hated her. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna let this deadline pass, and I'm gonna make this project what I really want it to be, so that it's something I can love and hopefully make last longer. So that when cons come back, I can actually take it out and show it to people. So, yeah, that's what's going on. If you guys have any comments about what you just saw, please feel free to let me know. If this video was in any way helpful to you, also let me know. Yeah, this was a weird one, but it needed to happen, and I felt like this this made the most sense as my I'm coming back video. So, thanks for joining me. Yeah, thanks for joining me. And until next time, stay tuned for awesome. And on one last personal note, as I mentioned earlier, my dad passed away in January due to stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And in his honor, we have been raising a lot of money for the American Cancer Society. Prior to his passing, we actually created a relay team, and it would have been our first family relay last year, but relay didn't happen due to the pandemic, so unfortunately he never got to relay with us. Relay has always been a really important cause to us, me personally, and for us as a family. So if you know anyone in your life that's affected by cancer, whether they're a caregiver, a survivor, or someone currently fighting, please donate. I'm gonna leave a link in the description for my family's Relay for Life team. All of the proceeds go to the American Cancer Society and all of the wonderful programs that they provide for families and those battling cancer. So from my family to yours, big thank you. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for supporting me as a creator. I really appreciate it.